guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like I've been gone forever, but you know, every now and then we have to take a break and regroup and come back refreshed and ready to get back into the swing of things. So if you are new here, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I do want to say that if you are new here, I hope that you consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Over here, I talk a lot about Naca and share my journey and my experience while going through the Naca program. My husband and I, we bought our home in 2020, and we've been in our home for just a little over a year now, and it was such a great experience, but it did have some downside to it. But if you are interested in any of those videos that I previously recorded, I will link it above so you can binge watch all of my videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the minimum required funds and where that money is supposed to be going. Like, where the money going, sis? So if you have the Naca workbook that they should have given you when you attended the workshop, then in the back of the book, it tells you everywhere where your money is going as far as your minimum required funds. So I'm going to pull out my book because I have it right here with me. If you don't have a copy of the book, I will leave the link in the description box below, and you can click on that link and it'll take you directly to the online book where you can view everything for yourself as well. So on page 36 of the Naca book, it tells you how much money will you need to buy a home. So I know that when I first initially started the program, or when we came back the very last time to go through the process again, our mortgage counselor was telling us we needed at least about $3,500. Now, in the very beginning, when we initially signed up, which is back in 2014, they were saying $3,000. So it seems like it gradually increases over time. And I can understand that because things change. Nothing will ever remain the same as far as when it comes to money. So when we came back the very last time to finish our Naca journey in 2019, our mortgage counselor was telling us we would need about $3,500. And so we decided to, you know, just keep saving. We didn't want to stop at $3,500. And I strongly advise you to not stop at whatever the amount is that your mortgage counselor is telling you that you need for closing. You want to make sure that you are saving more than they are telling you, because you want to make sure that you are comfortable and you have more than enough when it comes down to closing, because you just never know. There could be some unexpected fees that they might try to throw at you, okay? So you want to make sure that you are extremely comfortable with your savings, and you want to save, I would say, at least 2 to 3 times more than what they are telling you, if you can afford to save that much. But as far as where your minimum required funds are going to be allocated when it comes down to closing, they're going to go over all of that information with you at closing. They're going to show you the breakdown of where every dollar is going to be allocated to. But for now, we're going to just look in the book, because I know some of you are just now starting, some of you are in the middle, some of you are kind of towards the end, you almost to the finish line, and you almost there. So I want to kind of just give you a breakdown from what's inside the booklet and just tell you where your money is going to be allocated to. So for instance, you have the pre-mortgage application. That is $1,000 with Naca. And then you also have a home inspection, which is about $400. Now these are estimates. I know my home inspection cost me, I think it was $600, and it may be just a little bit less than that, but I think it was about $600 for my full home inspection. And then you also have, homeowners insurance premium for the first year. So you do have to pay that up front when you go to closing. So basically they will configure the amount for your first year home insurance into your minimum required funds, and that amount listed here in the booklet is $600. And then you have some prepays, which is basically for your escrow. You have homeowners insurance that you're going to have to pay upfront for the first 2 months when you're closing your home, which will be included in your minimum required funds. That amount is $100 for the first 2 months. You have real estate taxes, which is going to be between 2 and 12 months. It really depends on the time of year that you are closing. For instance, in my situation, I think we have to pay up to 9 months of taxes, property taxes. So it just depends on the time that you are closing throughout the year. If you're closing later on in the middle of the year or towards the end of the year, you may not have to come out of pocket so much with your property taxes. It's crazy because when we were told that we had to pay up front for our property taxes, we were like, wait a minute, you didn't tell us that. So how much is it? Because you think that it's going to be a lot, but at the same time, it's really not a lot. It just depends on how much they determine what your property taxes are. So, and like I said, it also depends on the time of the year that you are closing on your home. So if you are closing, let's say at the beginning of the year, then you have to pay property taxes probably for at least 9 or 10 months, depending on when you're closing. So we closed in April. We had to pay from April, I believe, all the way up into October. And that was upfront, which was considered to be in our minimum required funds. You also have the prepaid mortgage interest, which is $247, and then you have the 1 month PITI or PITI in reserve, and that is going to be $661. And then they have the interest rate buy down, which is optional, so they don't put an amount for the interest rate buy down because it is totally up to you if you decide to buy your interest rate down. So the total cost, which is the minimum required funds, comes up to be about $2,216. But we all know that it's going to be a little bit more than that because these are just estimates in the book. But it gives you a ballpark figure as to what you are going to be paying when it comes down to closing. Now, you're not having to pay any type of closing cost because Naca does no closing costs and Naca does no down payment. But you are having to pay different things that consist of your minimum required funds. So just keep in mind that everybody's minimum required funds are not going to ever be the same amount. Some people might have $8,000 that they have to come up front with for minimum required funds at closing. Some people might have $2,500, some might be $5,000. It just depends on the amount of the house. It depends on your situation. So everybody's is not going to be the same. Some people may not have to pay anything at closing. Some people may have to pay something at closing. And in my case, I didn't have to pay anything at closing. So I actually got money back. And if you're interested in that video, I will also link that video up above. And then also I want to make note that in this book, the workbook, it makes a statement stating that the above analysis is based on a $100,000 purchase price for a single family home. A 1 month reserves based on P&I at 4.5 plus $154 taxes and insurance. So the estimated cost may differ significantly for different markets, and the cost generally increase in proportion to the increased sales price and interest rate. So you have to take all of that into consideration when it comes down to your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your prepaid mortgage interest, and the 1 month PITI or PITI. So you have to take all of that into consideration. And then also your homeowner's insurance premium. Now it does say $600 in the book, but it could be a little different. It could be more, it could be less. It just depends. And I'm sure it might be more depending on who you choose for your home insurance company. And one thing that I do want to say, and I think I discussed this one time before, and this don't have anything to do with the minimum required funds, or at least it has just a little bit. But a lot of people think that once you go to that home purchase workshop and they give you the amount that you can afford, a lot of people think that, oh, the amount that's listed on that qualification sheet is the amount that you have to look for. And that's not necessarily true, because if you find a home that is worth more than what you are actually qualified for, then you will most definitely need to buy your interest rate down to be able to qualify for that home. And the amount that you're trying to buy your interest rate down to should be included in your minimum required funds, because all of that will be due at the time of closing. So it is definitely possible to find a home that is worth more than what you are actually qualified for. My husband and I did it, and I'm sure that several other people did it. A lot of people choose to buy their interest rate down because it's a great program to be able to take advantage of, and it gets that interest rate down to little to nothing, and it also makes your mortgage payment more affordable. So that is basically what I wanted to discuss today, just basically letting you guys know an overview of where your minimum required funds go to. All of the information came right out of the Naca workbook. If you do not have this Naca workbook, I will once again leave the link in the description box below so you can download it for yourself if you have not already attended the Naca workshop. If you are waiting to attend the Naca workshop and you want to review the Naca workbook prior to, then please feel free to do so. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it somewhat helpful and useful for you as you start your Naca journey, or if you are already on your Naca journey and you just had some questions in regards to the minimum required funds which you kind of did not understand, then I hope that the video kind of helped you in some kind of way. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns about the program and what you need to do next, your next steps, you can feel free to reach out to myself by leaving me a comment down below. And you can also reach out to your mortgage counselor. I know that they are extremely busy right now because of so many people coming into the program wanting to take advantage of it. So just be patient with them as they are overloaded with numerous of people just like you and I who are trying to get into their homes, okay? Who want to continue to rent when you can buy. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe below and give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.